Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to be working on getting this door flat, and I'm going to be doing a voiceover throughout the whole thing just because I've made a video on this topic before, and I thought I'll just go on here, speak on what I'm doing and get more into detail. So in this step, as you guys are seeing, I'm removing the paint off of the actual panel. And the reason that I'm removing the paint is because I want to get fresh metal in contact with the fairing compound that I'm using. To be honest, I don't really think I have to do this step, but I'm doing it just for the fact that I have that guarantee that in the future, the paint is not going to be peeling off and causing all the work that I did to fall off, and I'll have to do it all over again. And I wish I didn't have to do it because that took about 20 minutes each area. And it's 4 areas, so that took a really long time. So here what I'm doing is I'm using the die grinder with 36 grit sandpaper, and I'm pretty much just scuffing up the area so that there's good adhesion, I think the word is, between the fairing compound and the actual metal of the door. By the way, every time that the screen goes black is because the light is turning off. It turns off every minute, so yeah. And here what I'm doing is I'm installing some self-tapping screws, some regular sheetrock screws, so that there is an actual mechanical connection between the fairing compound and the door itself. So let's just say if everything I did, all that prepping work didn't work, these screws will definitely hold on to the fairing compound. It's like rebar in concrete. And here I'm just sanding around and also wiping off all the dust because there is a lot of dust on that door right now with all the sanding I did. And if you keep it dusty, the fairing compound is not going to connect well with the door. Now here I am cleaning the spatula that I used to spread the fairing compound on the door. I think this is one of the most important parts of the project because if your tools are dirty, you're going to see, I'm going to show you later what happens when you don't clean your tools. So this is the fairing compound that I use. It's from TotalFair. It's a 2-part epoxy. So 50-50, mix it together. One is yellow, one is blue. And when it becomes a nice, I don't know, that's like dark green, it's ready to be applied. So you have to mix it for about 2 minutes and then you start applying it. Here's where I start to apply the compound, and my goal in this first coat, which I'm going to be doing 3, is to just put it as thick as possible in the deepest parts. I just want to apply as much as I need to make that surface flat. I just want to build that up. There is going to be some holes in the surface itself, but we are going to be filling that up with the other 2 coats. So it's just about building the layers on top of the layers and then sanding it down so that the whole entire door could be smooth. And as you guys see here, I'm also filling in the middle because when I was using the grinder to take off the paint, it did like warp the door, so I'm trying to get that flat. And here I'm using a 10-inch knife to get that as smooth as possible because, if I have some extra stuff on top, it's less to sand, and also I could use this expensive product on the other panels. So I'm going to be doing the top panel, which is the one that you see now, and the one below. This product is pretty thick and is usually used in small patches. So if you are going to be using it the way that I am, which is a whole bunch at one time, get your hand, finger, and wrist ready because you are going to be putting a lot of pressure and it is going to be hurting while applying. When I was mixing this fairing compound for this first coat, I really didn't measure anything. I just put a whole bunch together, mixed it, and I just crossed my fingers hoping that it was enough for the first coat in both areas. 3 hours later, the fairing compound has cured, and now I am sanding the first coat. And to be honest, it's not too much to sand because it's not that thick. But the second coat, what I was trying to do was make it super thick so that the third coat won't have to be as heavy. The only drawback to that is that when you make the second coat heavy, there is a lot to sand. What I'm also trying to do is push the compound further away from the hole itself, just so that when I'm sanding, I can feather the compound to the door and make it as smooth and as flat as possible. Now it's the next day and my shirt is matching the fairing compound itself, and I'm sanding the door flat. There is a lot more to sand, but if you guys look closely, you could see where the light green is where it has been sanded, and where the dark green is where the divots are. So it's a very clear indication on where I have to apply the next coat. Although what I do is I just do a thin coat for the third coat all throughout. But if you're running out of material, you could just fill in where the crevices are and not worry about having enough. Now I am applying the third and final coat, and I am going to show you right now why you have to clean your tools before applying the compound. Look at this. Look at all those streaks. So before mixing or applying the fairing compound, make sure you clean those tools, because you will leave streaks if you ignore that step. Now we're sanding that third coat. You want everything to finish looking a nice light green. If you find anything dark green, that means you have crevices, and you're gonna have to apply some more. So that's pretty much it. The project is not 100% done because I still have the other panels on the left side, but I was running out of product, and I'm just gonna be doing that on my spare time because you guys don't need to see that. So that's going to be it for this video. If you learned something new, you could show me by giving me a like. Any comments or questions, leave it in the comments down below. And if you're interested in seeing more projects, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thanks.